Hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive. Today we'll be exploring a really fascinating piece of Tamil poetry. It's hymn 12. And, it's basically like a guidebook for navigating the spiritual path. But here's the thing. It's full of wisdom that's surprisingly relevant to everyday life. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And what's really cool is we have both a translation and a line-by-line explanation. So we can really, unpack the deeper meaning of each verse.
It's like having a decoder ring for ancient wisdom. I love that. One thing that really struck me as I was reading through this was this balance between strength and compassion. It's not just about, seeking enlightenment and isolation. It's about finding unity, connection, and even getting a little help along the way.
Yeah, you really hit the nail on the head there. The poem's central theme is this idea of the sacred path, or the true path, which in Tamil is Thirunari. And what's so interesting is it's described as a path of reconciliation. It's not just about individual progress.
So it's more like a journey we're all taking together.
Exactly. It emphasizes harmony and connection, almost like a form of spiritual diplomacy, leading to union with the divine, with Shiva.
Now, I'm curious about this word nectar. I kept seeing it pop up. What's the deal with that?
Yes, the nectar. That's a metaphor for divine grace. And it's not just some vague concept. It's described in a way that suggests nourishment, sweetness, something vital for our growth on this path. It really highlights the idea that we're not alone on this journey.
I like that. And speaking of not being alone, the poem talks about this generous benefactor, providing us with all the qualities we need for this journey. Strength, compassion, wisdom, like having a cosmic mentor.
It is. It really is. Like this active presence equipping us for the journey. And notice it mentions both power and compassion as qualities provided. It's not enough to be strong.
You gotta have that heart.
Exactly. It's about tempering strength with kindness and understanding.
Yeah, I'm curious about how the poem portrays divine presence. Is it this far-off concept, or is it something more tangible, more immediate?
Well, there's this moment described in the poem, a moment of great compassion. And it's described in such a tangible way you can almost feel it. It suggests that the divine isn't distant or abstract, but present in the very act of caring for ourselves and for others.
I see. So it's about bringing that compassion into our everyday interactions.
Exactly. It's about recognizing the divine in the everyday, in those small acts of kindness and connection.
That's a beautiful thought. But let's be real. This journey can't always be sunshine and roses.
Yeah.
Right? There got to be some bumps along the road, some challenges.
Oh, absolutely. The poem acknowledges that. It talks about a dark path, symbolizing those inevitable moments of difficulty.
So how do we navigate those dark paths? What advice does the poem offer?
It gives us this incredible line. It says, "Do not falter or get disturbed, remain undisturbed." It's like a mantra for staying centered, even amidst chaos.
Powerful stuff. But is it enough to just stay calm? Don't we also need to take action to push through those challenges?
You're right. It's not just about passive acceptance. The poem also advises us to speak with courage and determination.
So it's about combining that inner stillness with outward action.
Precisely. It's about integrating those insights we gain on this inner journey and expressing them in the world.
So it's not about retreating from the world, but engaging with it.
Right.
Bringing those insights into the open.
You got it. And that takes courage. It takes a willingness to stand up for what we believe in, to speak our truth, even when it might be difficult. It really does take courage to speak our truth, even when it's hard,
Yeah, for sure. And it makes me think about those qualities we talked about before, strength and compassion. They seem so essential for this journey, but also just for life in general.
Right. You're absolutely right. The way the poem emphasizes both power and compassion as gifts from this divine benefactor, it's really powerful. It's like we're being given strength to overcome obstacles, but also the compassion to connect with others who might be struggling too.
Makes you think, right? How often do we need that balance in our everyday lives? Dealing with a tough situation at work, or navigating, a complicated relationship, or just trying to be there for a friend who's going through a rough time. We need both resilience and understanding.
Couldn't agree more. And hymn 12 gives us a framework for cultivating those qualities, for finding that balance within ourselves. And it's not just about self-improvement, it's about how we interact with the world around us, how we show up for others.
Yeah, and I'm really struck by how the poem emphasizes clarity and courage. It's one thing to have those qualities within us, but it seems to be saying that we need to express them outwardly too.
Right? Exactly. It's not enough to just sit with these ideas, we have to act on them. The poem actually urges us to speak with courage and determination.
So it's about putting those insights we've gained into action, making a difference in the world.
You got it. It's about not retreating from the world, but engaging with it, bringing those insights out into the open. Precisely. And that takes a certain fearlessness, right? A willingness to stand up for what we believe in, to speak our truth, even when it's hard.
Yeah, there's a real sense of responsibility in this poem, isn't there? It's like we're being called to share that nectar, that divine grace with others.
I love that. That's a beautiful way to put it. We're not just receiving grace. We're meant to be conduits for it, offering it to those in need.
Like a ripple effect.
Yeah.
The more we embody these qualities of strength and compassion, the more we contribute to this collective upliftment, helping others find their way too.
Exactly. We move closer to that ideal of reconciliation and harmony that the poem talks about.
You know what, I'm really impressed by? How much wisdom is packed into this short poem. It's like a guide for living a more meaningful and fulfilling life, even beyond the spiritual stuff.
That's the beauty of these ancient texts, right? They offer these timeless insights that can help us navigate the complexities of life, no matter what our beliefs are or our backgrounds.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Hymn 12, what are some key takeaways you hope our listeners will walk away with?
I think the big takeaway is that the spiritual journey, it's not about isolating ourselves, striving for some kind of unattainable perfection. It's about connection, finding harmony within ourselves and with the world around us.
And it seems like a big part of that is embracing both strength and compassion. Not just as separate things, but as these interconnected forces that help us move through the world more consciously.
Exactly. Hymn 12 reminds us that we're not alone on this path. There's this source of grace, this nectar that nourishes us. But it also shows us that we can be sources of strength and support for others, too.
It's a two-way street. We receive and we give. And the more we embody these qualities, the more we contribute to this kind of collective uplifting.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about recognizing that we're all connected. Our individual journeys are all intertwined.
And I'm really drawn to how the poem emphasizes speaking with courage and determination. It's like a call to action, right? It's about taking what we've learned on our inner journey and expressing it in the world.
It is a call to action, and that takes courage, It means being willing to be vulnerable, to speak our truth, even when it's tough. But the poem suggests that this is essential, that inner transformation should lead to outward action.
It's about being a light, sharing that nectar of grace and wisdom, even when things are dark or difficult.
I think that's a powerful message for everyone. Whether or not they see themselves as being on a spiritual path, we all face challenges. We all have doubts. But Hymn 12 reminds us that we have the strength within us to navigate those challenges with grace.
So it's not just a poem about spirituality. It's a poem about life, about how we show up for ourselves and for each other, how we find that balance of strength and compassion, and how we use our experiences to make the world a little bit better.
I like that. That's a really beautiful way to put it. And I hope our listeners will take these insights to heart and find ways to live them.
That's what it's all about, right? These deep dives, taking this ancient wisdom, and seeing how it speaks to us today.
Exactly. Finding those timeless truths that can help us on our own journeys and create a world that's more compassionate and connected.
Well said. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Hymn 12. We hope you found it insightful and inspiring. Until next time, keep exploring.